Bum 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 bum. The Peter Onshore Show. Bum 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 bum. Today is day 6 of my pilgrimage to Taiwan. I actually ran into a serious snafu while trying to record this video, and I'm glad it happened in Taiwan because in other places it might have ended with a fight. What had happened was I'm recording this at just after 8 a.m., and I thought it was a reasonable time to sit in my bed and record Peter Dislike, and that guy next to me was a little bit more sensitive to noise than I had thought, and I quickly grabbed my camera and walked outside. Unfortunately, in my excitement to record a Peter Dislike show, I forgot to grab the room key, and so I didn't want to close the door. And I sat outside the room to continue speaking, and the guy closes the door, and in a panic, I go back to knock at the door, and and I woke up somebody else. But it's 8 a.m. and thank God I apologize for that. I was just too eager to record. I don't mind having to get out of the room and get my key and everything. I was just too eager, and this time it really was my fault, but the whole thing de escalated quickly. I'm just glad it didn't happen in Houston or in another American city. I've had bad experiences with that, as you guys may remember from the last couple of trips. Now, I have mixed feelings. This is day 6 of my pilgrimage in Taipei. I have mixed feelings about some life goals. Most notably, my relationship goals. I really liked the other day when I went out by myself. I have a couple of favorite restaurants here in Taiwan. I really liked that. Even back home in Phoenix, I really liked it when I went to the art shows by myself. I really liked that. I really liked the trips to the other cities nearby. I took a trip to New Mexico to see an eclipse, and I did that by myself. Obviously, what I really Peter dislike is that when I got anything wrong, illnesses, car troubles, you know, disagreements at work, I felt like I was all alone. And also, a lot of times when I uh, uh, was trying to navigate a lot of this stuff alone, there was some barriers, right? So, for example, there's a lot of disagreement about back home in the United States. There's a lot of disagreement about how much maternity leave we should give, but have you ever heard of a single individual to go on some kind of a dating leave, right? I know it sounds funny because we're not accustomed to hearing it, but I don't think it's so silly. Okay, back to the point. I love the relationship with myself, but hate the repercussions of it. Let's just put it that way. If I could have a relationship with myself and have my food delivered to me every time I was sick, I'd be okay with that, right? Or I was working at a technology startup in New York, and one day I stayed behind to do a difficult task, and what was my reward for that? My reward was that I had costs to myself, right? So, for example, I was out till 8, 9 p.m. I didn't have somebody cook dinner at home for me. I ended up having to eat out almost every day for a couple of weeks, and I was making good money at the time, but it was still an expense, right? And my colleagues, they went home to tend to their spouses, to their kids, and I was thinking, gee, that's funny. I subsidize these people's costs to go spend time with their spouse and take care of their kids. Now, would I be okay with it? I guess, but I wish it went the other way around, right? When when there's something that I like to do, maybe it should be recognized that, hey, I did all of this, right? It doesn't often get recognized, though. Sometimes some people just laugh at what I want to do. I've learned to not tell what I want to do. Actually, I just raised my voice on one of my students. Actually, he was like, "What'd you do last week when you were away?" I was like, "Don't worry about it," you know. And he was very persistent. To his defense, he was only 17 years old. But I've learned to be careful about what had happened. Was I took a trip to Houston to see a girl that I had met online, and it didn't go very well. So I didn't, but I don't think it was a loss. I just didn't want people to laugh at me. I had um, I had another situation where I had offered a reward for anybody to set me up on a blind date, and I ended up increasing the reward a couple of times, and I actually got to go on the blind date, but I seriously fell out of favor with. I was going to a chess club at uh, at the community college, and I seriously fell out of favor with the group. I think in large part because the one kid, he was 21 years old, was jealous that he didn't have the resources to do anything like that. I don't think he thought it was a bad idea or anything, and it really wasn't. Because did the date that I went on go anywhere? Not really. I mean, I did make a number of friends, and then I lost them because there was some toxicity there. But what it really did was it opened the door, and I really, at that point in my life, I really needed that. And let's face it, got to remember where things were back in November. I was so heartbroken that it was impossible. I was messing up every group that I was going to, in large part because of how heartbroken, desperation had kicked in. I was sick. It felt like my heart was not working correctly. After after my friend set me up on the blind date and I gave him the reward and all that, well, two things happened. Number one, I felt much more comfortable getting involved elsewhere, and I wasn't messing up as much, right? And number two, he started learning about various investments, and so uh, I made a lot of other connections with him. Actually, right now he owns his place and he has like street parking. Right now, I'm parked at his place, and it's just all good. Unfortunately, good luck getting one of my former students to accept that. That's the big problem. Here, back home in the United States, people like to stick their nose far into other people's business, right? Like I said, the argument with my roommate this morning, had it been in Texas, it would have been this, right? Easily, right? And so I got too eager to record. I hate myself. I get too eager. Yesterday, I got too eager. I caused quite a scene yesterday too. I need to learn to calm down. What had happened was I had been up several nights in a row, and my eyes and my mind were playing tricks on me, and I was just about to get some food to cook. I've been eating out almost every meal because I can scarcely afford to eat out back home in the United States, and now that I can afford it, I got too carried away, and I thought, gee, maybe I should learn to cook some food because eventually I'm gonna actually move here, and I went to the common area in our hostel, and I thought I saw this cooktop range, and I thought, oh great, and I went out to go shopping for food. I spent about 10,000 Taiwanese dollar actually, and come back home and oh, where's the range? My eyes were playing tricks on me. There was no cooktop range, and I'm panicking. And so I caused quite a scene at the front desk. And thank God this is in Taiwan where people actually de escalate stuff like that instead of encouraging a fight. But so I need to calm down before I cause trouble myself. I can't believe how eager I was to record this morning. I cannot believe it. I was so eager to record that all right. I need to go apologize to my roommate soon before anything blows up in my face again. But This is the Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum.